All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the top of the hour. If you would rise if you're able, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, welcome to our February exchange. I'm Tom Foster, President of the 2026 Board of Directors. This meeting is audio and video recorded, and we are also live streaming today. Please take out your cell phones or electronic devices and check to make sure they're on a silent mode. As a reminder, verbal or physical aggression towards any member, guest, or staff member is not acceptable, and offenders may be asked to leave the meeting. Now let me introduce our board and timekeeper and the management personnel here. So we have Director Mapes.
Good morning, everyone.
Director Brissett.
Good morning.
Secretary Keiss.
Good morning.
Vice President Nedesine.
Good morning, everybody.
Treasurer Gray.
Good morning.
And Director Ruff.
Good morning. Glad you were able to find a chair and all this.
Our timekeeper will be Secretary Keiss. On the management folks here, we have General Manager Rebecca Hill.
Good morning.
Director of Finance Kevin McCurdy.
Good morning, everyone.
Director of Operations is Mike Dearmeyer.
Good morning.
Director of Golf is Eddie Renio.
Good morning.
And Board Coordinator is Marcia Johnson.
Good morning.
And I guess that's all we have today. All right? Also want to recognize Alan Kleinhans and Carly Young and Miguel Jackson, who serve as our audio and visual engineers. Just a couple brief announcements, and we'll keep rolling here. As you may note, we still only have 7 board members, but we have received numerous resumes to serve on the board for calendar 2026. We have set up interviews with every one of those individuals, and those will take place later this month. So hopefully by the March meeting, board meeting, we'll have a full contingent of board members. We have been doing a lot of work for our annual membership meeting coming up the end of March, and that agenda is still continuing to evolve, but we are working hard on that so that we have a interesting and fun time at that meeting. Then I want Vice President Nedesine, who traditionally at the Exchange has a update on Mountain View. And if you would like to give your update, that would be awesome.
I'm going walkabout. And no, I'm not Australian, but I can still do the walkabout. Okay, so welcome to the February update, and thank you all for coming. It's much appreciated. We have some good news this month, and we have some additional information. And we have something that will come at the end, what to expect next, which we have not had before. And I'm like kind of excited. It's just a simple line, but I'm kind of excited. So let's see if I can figure out not to turn it off. Okay, so these are all things that were actually completed. The final one, research and analysis of option 3 permutations, were delivered. And we chose one. We chose 3B+, which is option 3B with added scope. It added a new clubhouse and a new mini golf building rather than a renovated one. And we increased the budget to cover that from the original $28 million to $28 million something to $30.1 million. And that is the budget we are going forward with for Mountain View. So what's in process for the board? We're continue to meet with Triarch on design data. We're reviewing and signing contracts as they come up as the project evolves. We're providing Triarch with any additional data requests, and we're developing a Mountain View project calendar for everybody to be able to look at. So because now we're going to actually have things that, as we move forward, that are actually going to be like, boom, this should be done by then, this should be done by then, as we move forward. Triarch is still in the design phase. They're generating and executing design contracts with their consultants. They've done a topographic survey. They need to reassess the field survey of any existing buildings that will remain in the final design based on the 3B plus option. So now they know exactly what's being removed and what's not. They know exactly what's remaining. And now they can do a field survey of those existing buildings. And for the most part, they're storage. Okay. Triarch is officially in schematic design. They have the 3B plus option. And we are bringing or transitioning our partner, Krauss Anderson, who has been doing all the surveys and the building analysis and providing us with all those dollar amounts you've been seeing. They are transitioning into what's called a construction manager at risk. And I want to share with you, you'll hear that called CMAR. You'll hear that word a lot over the next however long Mountain View project takes. And they partnered with Triarch during our 3-bid process for an architect design company. They were part of that package. So now they're moving from where they were in the programming phase into the design phase as the CMAR. And the primary purpose of a CMAR is to manage timeline and budget. So they're going to be in there ensuring that we stay on time and stay within budget. They know what the budget is now, and they will be able to move forward. So it's a very natural transition. They went through the same process. You know, Triarch did their due diligence to pick who they wanted to align with. And some of the influence of what they aligned with Krauss Anderson, came from members themselves who actually brought that company up and mentioned that that was a good company with a good reputation. So when they did their due diligence, they chose Krauss Anderson, and now they're transitioning into the CMAR. We're scheduling meeting with stakeholders. If you remember last month, I said once we had finalized the option for 3B, with 3, whichever one we chose, that then they would start scheduling meetings with the stakeholders. Those are clubs, employee groups such as facilities, operations, IT, and any additional stakeholders that may not fit into those two groups. And the reason I say that is we don't technically have something called just a fitness club. We don't technically have something called just an ADA accessibility club, right? We have handicapables, we have aqua fitness, we have a lot of different groups that kind of segue through that. But there may be other people that have ideas and that have participated during the programming. And these meetings will be very similar to what they were during programming. They'll be reaching out, but the difference is this is for schematic design. So this is where, say, Aqua Fitness actually says, you know, we have these foam dumbbells and we have these pool squeegee things and we have floats and we need somewhere to store them. And then that's part of the conversation. Or maybe pickleball says, you know, we really need something for when we hang our rackets up, these are the ones we should be thinking about. Or hey, guess what? When you're thinking about noise abatement, think about this. So those are the different pieces, parts that will happen as they reach out to the stakeholders. And the timeline for that is over the next 2 to 4 weeks, they're going to be reaching out and scheduling those meetings. They may not all take place within 4 weeks, but they're going to be reaching out. And they will run virtual type meetings for people so that it's easy to attend. Okay, we're going to be sharing the Triarch design progress on the website, Facebook, email, exchange meetings. Any way we can, we will be sharing the updates. This will be the key one where the actual updates, and these will continue during the summer like they did last year, because let's face it, just because we all decide that June and July is too hot to be in Arizona, doesn't mean that the work doesn't keep going. So we will continue to provide those updates throughout the summer so everybody stays well informed. We're committed to keeping the Mountain View project moving forward. And this is a slight change. We'd like to thank the membership for all of their engagement in all the different phases of Mountain View. And the next member presentation will be at the end of the design phase, where the town hall will present the final drawings, where you get all the pretty pictures and you know how many shower stalls there will be, that kind of stuff. All of that will come at the top member presentation at the end of design. And then there's shovels in the ground. I've been talking about shovels in the ground for some time. I think I'm actually feeling like we're 6 steps closer to shovels in the ground, so I feel really excited about it. And again, if you guys can think of any additional communication channels, we're always open, and I'm happy to do so. So please continue to communicate with us regarding your thoughts and concerns. Like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. By liking us and following us on Facebook and YouTube, you will get that notification that something new is out there that you might be interested in. And then if you, as always, let us know your thoughts, and as the new information is communicated, Board of Directors at suncityaz.org. So what comes next? A Mountain View project calendar. The members had asked for that, and that's what we're looking at developing. The monthly design progress updates that I've talked about, the stakeholder meetings, the final design presentation, shovels in the ground, Mountain View construction, that's for real. And then the first time it's appeared, Mountain View finished renovation project delivered to the members. And that's the one I'm excited about, because for the first time I can put that up there, that we're down that road now where we can actually say, we're gonna deliver this project to you guys. Thank you, and continue to look forward to your input. I really appreciate everything that everybody's done, so thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Vice President Nettasine. Again, a thorough presentation, bringing everybody up to date where we stand with that project. So now let's go and review the exchange topic spreadsheet. There are just a couple items here that we need to just update on. One was the Duffyland Dog Park, where there were a number of different issues that were raised at the last exchange. And management has been attempting to work with the representatives of the park to work out adjustments or needs and address those concerns. I understand that that's been working so far reasonably well. Is there any update that anyone wishes to add? Okay. Second one is relates to bylaws on PIF and SIF, and this is pretty complicated actually. I've spent some time with this, and it's confusing. So if both names are on, so what's the process today? I guess if both names of owners are on a deed and one passes away, then there is no PIF assessed to that surviving spouse. If the house is in the name of a trust and one of the grantors passes away, there is again no PIF assessed to the trust. If you're legally married at the time of the purchase of the home and one subsequently passes away, there is no PIF assessed. But the request that had been brought up was for a further exception to this, that when only one name was on the deed and they were not necessarily married at the time, but the surviving spouse, the request was that the surviving spouse not have to pay the PIF. And as that was worked through by the bylaws working group, and we have certainly a few members here if they wish to chime in, but the feeling of that group was that that exception was not warranted. And so when the bylaws were revised and passed, that was excluded from the current reading. Is there anything you would like to add? Anyone else who was served on that group?
No, I think you put it pretty quickly. I guess I do have something I shouldn't say no. Yes, I think you put it pretty well. We did have long discussions about that, and you know, you could go down a long road of, okay, someone gets married afterwards and put it on, and that just it just gets into a hole that we didn't care to go into with not getting PIF increases with new owners coming on as they go through. It just didn't seem to make a lot of sense to the working group.
Vice President Nedesheim?
So just to share how the working group came to the decision for this, we whiteboarded it. We literally put it up on a whiteboard and we walked through all the different permutations of this type of a question. And every time we came down to what is the impact to the membership. So after whiteboarding it, there are so many what ifs that could happen in this situation that we would be constantly adding the what ifs in. So we made the decision that based on the way that originally the organization or the membership, RCSC, was designed, and the purpose that we would stay with, if you were married before and you just weren't on the deed, then you don't have to pay the PIF. But if you weren't, then you're like a new owner. And that's the way we looked at it, is kind of like a new owner. So it was a difficult decision. We talked about it for a long time because it was a very difficult decision.
Thank you for saying that a lot better than I stumbled through.
Okay. Next item is regarding any plans for celebration for the 250th anniversary of the country, and whether RCSC was planning in having a party. And do we need an excuse for a party? I think everybody is excited about being involved in something there. I believe that was generally assigned to Mr. Deermeyer and his group to work through some plans there, and I understand that that is going forward, but there was some concern about the state of Arizona's van that they were moving around the state for celebrations, and whether or not we had locked in with those folks for a time that they would be on RCSC property. So any comment on that, Mike?
We're still working with them, trying to put something together for this summer, hoping to get it around our 4th of July celebration. And then we're also doing our own thing in November with the 50th anniversary of the time capsule, opening that and unveiling that, and then putting a new time capsule in for another 50 years. So we've got a lot
Awesome.
going on this year.
Okay. Question about adding realtors as another partner listed in the Sun City update. Actually, we have spent some time with some of the realtors as potential partners for future marketing plans for Sun City. We look around at other 55-plus communities who have been, I don't know what should use the word aggressively marketing, but certainly out there marketing their facilities. And so there is some efforts ongoing right now that will include some of our prominent realtors here to continue to get Sun City front and center when folks are looking for 55-plus retirement communities. And hopefully that will continue to yield home sales in Sun City, which helps all of us in the long run. Create a committee for issues and have one person present the issue and ideas to the board, which was a thoughtful idea. The consensus, though, on the other side of that was that kind of puts a middleman between the membership and the board, and the board felt like it would perhaps be better to have that line of communication as direct as possible. So part of what the exchange is for those ideas to come up in this forum so that members have access to the board and the board has access to the members so that there is a flow of information back and forth. So I'm thinking we'll try to continue with that process for the time being and see how that goes. And then the next one is revisit times for board meetings and exchange meetings, and I think that is getting some serious consideration. So there may be some flexibility to those meeting times during 2026. And then maybe one last thing I wanted to throw in here was we did have a comment at a previous exchange about a concern at one of the clubs, whether or not there was some issues with exhausts from what they were working on, venting into the work area, and whether or not that was appropriate. And so we did jump on that very quickly. We did have a hygienist go in there and test all of that. We actually had the club fire up all of its machinery, and we tested individuals. We tested the air in the facilities, and everything passed with flying colors. So there may have been an odor that was emitted from some of these procedures that they were working on, but there was nothing there that was a problem. So touch on that and need not be concerned about those issues.
And that was an environmental hygienist, right? Not necessarily a dental hygienist.
Thank you for clarifying that. All right. Okay, so let's open the floor here for your comments. Get a number at the back if you haven't already. Secretary Keiss will be the timer, and we'll use our 3-minute policy as we have in the past. We'll try to check live stream. Mr. Dearmeyer, are you watching that? Or okay, so we'll try to check that occasionally. And then second opportunities will be allowed after everyone who wants to speak through the first time has had that opportunity to speak. All right, so
Number
Secretary
14,
Keiss.
please. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Ed Lenhart, member number 42081. I'd like to bring your attention to the cornhole courts. After getting some people together to go play cornhole, found out the courts don't open till 3 p.m. I think we all can see a problem with 3 p.m. in the afternoon, particularly in the summer. Inquiring further, I was told it disturbs the workers in the building next door. I inquired who those workers were, and they're RCSC workers. I find that this decision is kind of one-sided and arbitrary, considering they're supposed to be there for our benefit. I have to make the assumption the real issue is a single pane window that looks out onto the courts. And I'd like to mention that that single pane window has security bars bolted to the building. So it's not a safety issue. If we were, my first thought is to problem solve. Perhaps we could look into getting a double or triple pane, solid pane window and put there. And again, with the bars, security bars bolted to the building, it's really not an egress safety issue if we were to replace that window with a solid pane. I have other thoughts, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I think there might be some better solutions to this issue than just saying we can't play till 3 till closing. And that's about all I got to say. Thank you for your time, and I'm not sure what the next step would be, but I just, again, like to bring it to everybody's attention that right now this is probably the only club that I'm aware of that has such a restriction on time. It's just, again, seems pretty arbitrary. Thank you for your time.
Okay. We'll have someone take a look at that. This is up by the mini golf thing at Lakeview?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's at Lakeview, correct. Yeah.
I recall where it is then. We'll have
Yeah.
somebody look at
I
that.
always wonder why nobody was playing it. Now I know why.
Well, that would be hard, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Number 15, please.
Good morning. Lori Ellingson, 133335. I'm a little confused. Every meeting, we start by pledging the allegiance to the flag. There's 31 words in the Pledge of Allegiance. The ones at the very end say, for truth, justice. Well, that's from Superman. Superman says, truth, justice, and the American way. Our Pledge of Allegiance says, and liberty and justice for all. Constitution of the United States talks about everybody's right for freedom of speech. We have an issue with how we deal with our conduct reports. I'm getting mixed messages. Some people are saying the system is broken. I'm saying we don't have a system. When I ask members of the board from previous years, how do we go about doing such and such? Their answer is, I don't know. You ask one person one thing, you get an answer. You ask somebody else something, you get a different answer. I have brought up several times the necessity of having an ethics committee, having a fact-finding committee, and having some type of customer service so that when people do have an issue, they know where to go to get the right answer. This has been brought up over and over and over. There's a definite lack of clarity on the process of writing and addressing conduct reports and the proper procedure to follow when submitting a conduct report and for replying to a conduct report. There's no information on what happens when somebody in senior management isn't abiding by the bylaws. And there's no way of how we can manage the board members. It's a definite problem, and we need to address it. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm on my way to play Whisper Rock, a private golf course. I played our Riverview and South golf courses, and my brother said the fairways were harder than Final Jeopardy.
Go ahead.
Number 16, please.
Good morning. I'm Pat Tonema, 136596. In years past, RCSC had convenient vote centers in place for our residents at a few rec centers. For the midterm elections this fall, there are 0 vote centers in Sun City. The Elks Lodge and local churches will no longer be available. A group of us from the Lifelong Learning Club recently toured the Maricopa County Tabulation and Election Center. Staff told us that they are searching for venues in Sun City and asked for our help. I already sent each of you the names and contacts for the elections director and the communications coordinator. Seniors do not need the hardship of travel to a distant location in order to vote. Many of us use mail-in ballots, but there are also those who prefer the in-person experience, the ritual of putting their ballot in place. Even a center available for a few days prior and on Election Day would be extremely helpful and allow Sun City residents to exercise their rights as citizens. I know space at the rec centers is spoken for in advance, way in advance, but surely there would be something, maybe the east or west rooms at Sundial, or a meeting room at Grand, or any currently empty club rooms, or where the lawn bowl room is at Bell Center. That doesn't seem to get too much use. And for church members who are here today, ask your pastor to consider providing space as well. Please allow also voter registration tables to be set up during the spring and summer on the patios outside of our libraries at Bell and Fairway. Registration is done by respectful, trained people. Just a few days here and there for new residents to change their state registration, for example. Please give us this vital assistance and enable us to get out and vote. All 30 people on the field trip tour we took recently were wildly enthusiastic about this idea. So you may be hearing from some of them too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 17, please.
Good morning. My name is Anita Dahl, 151991. I just wanted to share with you something that just happened to us, hoping that would be a learning experience and hopefully would never happen to anyone else. I came last month to this meeting and I was very excited to find out the director of golf got up and said because of the high increase to the annual unlimited pass, we would be able to pay half now, half within 60 days. I went home when my husband came home from golf and gave him this great news. His membership comes due in February, well after that meeting. Now, I would imagine if you made an announcement at a meeting, you would have the infrastructure in place and the employees would have known about it. So my husband goes in February with his check for $1,400, and the woman looked at him like he was from outer space. She told him there is no such plan, and that maybe I misunderstood and understood that maybe you were thinking about it. And then she went on to tell him that people do come in with some very off-the-wall ideas. I did not bring my husband an off-the-wall idea. She more or less called him a liar. He insisted that that I don't usually make mistakes and this must be the correct thing. And she said, sir, if it was the correct thing, I would be able to enter it in the computer. I cannot. It's not a thing. He insisted and she finally said, I'll call you in a couple days and let you know if I find anything out. He said, unfortunately, my golf membership comes due tomorrow and I will not be able to golf unless you let me know about it. I then got on the phone and called the director of golf, left him a message. and asked him to call me. He did not call me, but that's fine. Later on that afternoon, my husband received a call and said that he could make the $1,400 payment.
Okay.
But did she make it professionally and said, oh, Mr. Dahl, I'd be happy to take your payment over the phone, or you can come in and make your payment? No, she went on to berate him about he was the only one that asked, and that she just didn't understand why he was asking for this. Everyone else is able to make their payments, and why did he only need to make half? He got off the phone and he said, don't you ever make me feel like I am the most impoverished golfer in Sun City. March just works better for us, and it was an option that was made available, and I wish to take advantage of this wonderful thing that you're doing for our residents. Right now, he will never step into the member's office again. I did customer service for 40 years, and I don't think that's the way to do it. So please have your employees know about things. It probably wasn't her fault. I'm sure she didn't mean to make him feel bad, but she should have never been put in that situation either. Thank you.
Well, you were correct that that was an announcement that was made, and it was fully the intent to allow sort of an installment process to pay for the annual golf fee. I apologize if your husband was felt that he was not treated with the utmost customer service, because quite honestly, we're here for customer service, not really for much else. I mean, you are the customers, and that's what we should be serving. So we will take your comments seriously and make sure that that is addressed, and hopefully that the next time you do, or your husband does, go into cardholder services, they will be greeted with a warm smile and a handshake and maybe a donut or something, because that was not the experience that we expect our people to deliver. So thank you for your comment. Rebecca, did you want?
Yeah, just a quick comment. Thank you for your feedback. On behalf of the team, you have my apologies for being treated poorly, you and your husband. It is a program that the leadership team and the board had discussed, because we do want it to be affordable. We've heard membership feedback in saying that with the increased rates, so we were looking for some opportunities to make it a little bit more manageable for the membership. We are working on a customer service training program that everybody's favorite, Mike Diermeyer, is actually spearheading, and it's going to be rolled out here soon, but we don't have exact details on it, but he's been working on it. It is a focus of our leadership team and the board for sure, so thank you for this opportunity to make it better.
Number 18, please.
John Fast, 153253. Thank you to the City of Volunteers. I brought a guest in and showed her what we have. We went over to the pickleball tournament. We went on the boats. We were treated wonderfully, absolutely wonderfully. And I said, yeah, you know, I'm invested in this place. And this is important to me because it's going to be where I die, probably. And so with that in mind, I got to thinking about, and I do want to thank the board for responding to inquiries that I made, and I think that was very responsive. Thank you. But I do want to be extremely careful as we fast track, and I think we'll agree that we're fast tracking the theater, that we be honest with the members to a fault. So I want to point out the January 13th presentation by Triarch that there were 105 performances at Mountain View. I can't get to that number, and I don't think anybody can. So I would just encourage you to be careful. I know that you want to get shovels in the ground. I hope they're not for my grave. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, John.
Number 19, please.
Tad Daughters, 117436. I'd just like to thank the board for their continued work on Mountain View and their keeping us informed as to what's going on. I don't know about the 109 possibilities for using Mountain View, but I assume that that includes multiple clubs that are not using Mountain View at the moment. I know that as a member of the players, I don't see that many uses at the moment, but I'm sure that there are many who would appreciate the theater that has been at least outlined for us. Thank you.
And before we go, there's something I probably should have responded to Mr. Fast while he was here. After 10 to 15 years talking about this project, the idea that we are fast-tracking anything, just, it doesn't really mesh with me. It's just, that's just me. You know, we're working at this methodically, professionally, and the members have told us consistently, we need to get this done. So we're not fast-tracking anything, but we're finally trying to get something done that we've been talking about since before I moved here in 2014. So, you know, we will continue to move forward with that. Now, number 20, please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kathleen Strawn, 144364. I have several questions, so please bear with. I don't have my papers from the last meeting. Will there be a hot tub or a therapy pool at Mountain View with the plan that was selected? Yes? Yay! Trust me, we thank you very much. While Mountain View Pool is closed, where will the water aerobics classes go and where will family swimming go? Because 1/3 of the swimming hours for families is at Mountain View. So I hope somebody's taking that into consideration, that, you know, people are going to need a place to take their kids. Maybe they expand hours at the other pools where kids are allowed now, or I don't know. Something to keep in mind. If I want to be a stakeholder in some of the meetings over the next couple of weeks about the finer details on Mountain View, how do we get to be a stakeholder? Am I a stakeholder if I'm a member here? Or just certain clubs or just certain people reach out with that?
I'll answer. Is that, as
Go
you get
ahead.
through your
Yes.
questions, I'll answer.
Okay. And then I found out one of my friends in water aerobics is not on the email list. Does she have to go into the offices, the activities membership offices, to get put on the email list? So she only found out about this meeting because I texted her last night. And she already had plans, so she could not come. So,
All right, so hot tub therapy pool, yes?
yay.
Well,
Did you have any more questions, or was that your?
And just, have you thought about where current users of Mountain View will go while the pool is being, you know, reconstructed? So,
Okay, so where will water aerobics and family swim? That's on the list of things we need to work out and try and balance.
Yes.
Because we know we need to do that. So
Yeah.
that is on the list of things to do and now that we're actually in the stage of actually thinking that we have a tentative date that, boom, we're going to start shutting down the Mountain View facilities, now we can start planning more detailed. They've been working with like the Players Club and some of the other clubs, but now we're working through. Some of them there is not an alternative. It's unfortunate, but there's not. But for things like family swim, water aerobics, which are very well attended, those sort of things, we're looking at how we handle that and how we marry those together in the short term that Mountain View will be out of action. And I say short term because when you start thinking about 10 to 15 years, being out of action for 8 or 9 months seems very short term, right? When you say you want to be a stakeholder, are you a member of the water aerobics club, and are you on their board?
No, I'm not on the board. I just attend classes and have been doing so
So I would
from
talk.
day one I got here.
I would talk to the water aerobics club because that's who Triarch is reaching out to, and water aerobics absolutely are on the list of stakeholders.
Okay.
So I would talk to your club structure, let them know you're interested. They get to choose who gets to speak. Just to share with you, we're not making those decisions. The clubs are making those decisions, so I would talk with them.
Okay.
As for not being on the email list, I would strongly recommend that your friend call the cardholder services and see that she has her email address in there, or she has the right email address in there, because that's a huge part of it. I will share with you something I've heard across multiple clubs. If you have a Yahoo address or a .net address from like Cox, which Yahoo manages, they have special filters in place that can bounce your emails without you knowing. So I would recommend that you consider that if you have the right email address in and it's a Yahoo or a Cox.net, you might want to consider, is there a different domain like a Gmail or an Outlook account, something different? Because I dug into it pretty deeply, and quite honestly, the filters are super sensitive. So.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mr. Deermeyer, did you wish to comment here?
Yeah, reaching out to cardholder services is great to make sure you have the proper email address in the system. And as we work on this database, it'll be important to have that in. But if you're just looking for our weekly communications or our emails that go out, on the homepage of the website, at the top of the page, there's a Get in Touch button you can click. Click on that button and type in the form, in the message, your information and the message in the form, and we'll get you added to the email list.
Treasurer Gray?
Thank you. I just want to make one note too, is because of the service, any email service, if you click on something to say you don't want to receive them anymore, that takes you off of our list. So she might have been on the list. So you have to be careful when if you don't want the emails, if you click that off, then we cannot send an email out to you. So that may be something, again, as email users, we just need to be aware of.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Rick. That was my second part of that I forgot to say. So you just perfectly said that. We are running into that a lot where somebody will tell us that they're not getting the email, and we go and research and they've opted out of our email list. And now we're kind of stuck. We can't get their email back in. It's very difficult.
Secretary Keiss.
One thing everyone's going to have to understand also as we go through and Mountain View starts under renovation, it's going to be difficult to feather in all of the amenities that are being used for people at Mountain View into other places. I mean, we're going to have to go through a period where there just is kind of a limited access because we're losing 20% of our recreation centers. So we'll try to fit other aerobics and family swim in as much as possible, but there's going to be a lot of people using smaller number of amenities, so that's just going to be an uncomfortable period during the construction.
Okay.
Number 21, please.
Hi, I'm Susan Taylor. My number is 174188. To further discuss the Mountain View closure, the pickleball club with over 1,100 members is concerned about losing access to the courts we have there while the construction's going on. I hear a lot about the pool and so forth. Is there consideration to how we're going to get consideration on using other courts, maybe half of tennis courts somewhere, or things like that?
Is that the only question you have, ma'am, or do you have something else? We can.
Well, that combined with, did I hear about 8 months of downtime at Mountain View? Is that what you're projecting?
Did you? No,
That's just for the pool?
no, that's just a number I threw out there. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
an accurate number. I'm just
Okay.
giving an example compared to 10, 15 years, 8 or 9 months is not a long
Okay.
time. I don't know exactly how long it's going to be down. We're not far enough
Yeah.
along in the design to be able to understand what the construction timelines will be. That's part of the reason for the calendar, is so that people are aware.
I understand, and so you're not unique in other members of the pickleball club know where I live. And they have politely come by and suggested some things, as
Did
you
get
are.
that sign on your front wall painted over now?
The squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm just squeaking a little bit more.
And that is your right, and I will defend that forever. So good for you for doing that. The other side of the story, though, is, we only have so many resources here, and we're trying to increase the pickleball courts at Mountain View because of that.
And thank you very much for that. I applaud that.
Well, and so we're trying to respond to that need, but there are always opportunity costs, and unfortunately, in this case, there's only so many other courts that are available at Marinette, and I don't know that we can afford to go buy memberships all over the valley for you guys to continue to play. My thought is that we just have to kind of bite the bullet here, as my colleagues here have been suggesting, to do the best we can to try to get this done well, properly, safely, but quickly, so that you can enjoy those amenities as you have, and an improved one, because you'll have much more access to courts at Mountain View. But it's just, unfortunately, there's always a downside when you're trying to do things like this, and you've identified one of them, and we'll just have to deal with that to try and get to the other side, so we have a better facility for everyone to use.
So what I think I'm hearing is there is no plan to have some temporary solution to our downtime of those 7 courts.
If you reconfigure other assets for one amenity, then you take away from access to the people that are using it. So that's a very difficult thing. I don't think we have a good answer to that yet, but it may not be the answer you like.
Yeah, okay, so the pools get consideration, but we don't.
As I said, the pools are going to have to fit in with everybody else, ma'am, just like the
Okay.
pickleball players.
Yeah.
Vice President Nedesine.
So as I was sitting here listening, one of the things that I was thinking is maybe the pickleball club can sit down with operations and look at the schedule and see if we can get a little creative in how to use the remaining amenities that are there, like all the pickleball courts up at Marinette. Is there a way that will work, that will serve the needs of the people that were using the Mountain View courts? And
Yeah, absolutely, and they actually made some changes just this week to work on that situation, so, yeah.
And when I talked about water aerobics, it's with the understanding we have 6 other pools. We don't have, unfortunately, 6 other sites with pickleball courts, so it makes it more challenging.
Right. I just wanted to go on the record.
Okay, thank you.
Number 22, please.
Hello, Ruth Mackay, 159538.
I wasn't going to speak today, but this poor lady here, I don't know her name, who had a bad experience with the card membership holder, whatever the place is called. I just feel terrible for her. And I myself have had a few bad experiences with card member services, and nothing specific, and I try to avoid going in there. And if I had acted the way that this lady acted toward this woman and her husband, being that I was a bank teller for several years, I would have lost my job. These people are paid, and I wouldn't be given an opportunity to get training. I would lose my job right then and there. And I just think that they need to realize that we are the customers. And it used to be, in the day that I was working, that the customer was always right. And I know things have changed a lot since then, and apparently customers aren't always right now, but I think in this situation that really needs to be presented to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Number 23, please.
First, I'd like to thank the board for having an open session so you can hear the people from our association
Sir,
speaking
could you
to
give us your name and your rec card number,
My name
please?
is Larry Eller. I'm an old man fisherman, and I'd like to talk about
Sir,
the lake.
sir, your rec card number, please?
What?
Your,
131662.
thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I just get eager to jump off the jumping board when I get a chance. Okay.
Please jump.
So what I want to say to you is the habitat of the lake for the fish. First, I want to thank the board and the members of the board for stocking the fish in the lake. It's wonderful that we have trout there that can be caught, and they're caught a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people coming that would have never went to that spot if it wasn't for the trout. So it has expanded that out. Now I want to share you some thoughts that I would hope you will take in interest of the lake, especially the trout. The habitat of that area has no feed for trout. There's nothing in them. When they come in first and you got them, they got food from where they came from. Now when you got them, for example, yesterday I got in one that felt so full. It had a long rubber worm in it. No nutrients at all. So I have a recommendation. It does not cost very much. You take the 2 ponds, okay? And you put feed in the ponds for the trout. What is the feed? They're little like shrimp. They call scuds. Scuds farmers use on their ranches for trout. Scuds multiply so fast. It's amazing how fast they multiply. They'll come out of the ponds into the lake. And remember 4 years ago, you used to go to that lake and you see trout in the lake? Because there was food drawing the trout there. There's no food in the lake, they're starving. Now we are catching them, and they're there for us to catch. But I think if we put food in that lake, it won't cost much. Fish cost a lot more than buying some scuds. Plant them in a pond. How do you plant them? Many different ways. One of the best houses for them is to take cow heads or horse heads. You bury them in there, top of the ground, and the scuds make a home in there. They multiply. They feed the trout. Those trout aren't starving. We know the trout are going to die in the lake because of the heat. But why not feed those trout while they're there? Because they're going to be more active. They'll be able to confront that heat longer because they have energy from their body. And it would not cost very much to do. So I'm asking the board to consider that. Also, if you do that in the ponds, you're going to see the trout back in the ponds. I remember seeing the trouts in the pond. Man, the big trouts come in and you could see them before they drained it. It was beautiful. A lot of people loved it. So my concern is to see if we can get that moved forward some way, somehow. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
We'll look into it.
Okay. Is there a member on this board that's involved with it that I can talk to later?
I signed the sheets that put those fish in that pond, so
So is there a chance I can meet with you later?
certainly
about it?
you may.
I'd love
As
to.
long as we don't, you have to be in line with the pickleball people.
I'll make an appointment at your office.
We'll make it work.
Thank you, board.
Number 24, please.
Good morning, Chris Light, 153584. I spoke last time, and I appreciate your willingness to look at the hours for the meetings. So thank you for that. A couple questions for Mountain View. First of all, can we get a little clarification about adding the clubhouse, what that means? And if we have suggestions, do we send them to your email if we are not specific shareholders? Or do we have to go through our committee, like Aqua Fitness? Would I have to go to the Aqua Fitness people to bring Aqua Fitness suggestions? I just want to clarify that.
Okay, so we're not adding the clubhouse. Instead of renovating the existing clubhouse, we're knocking it down and building a new one. We added, originally in 3B, it was just a renovation of the clubhouse. Now we're going to, with the change, 3B plus, we're knocking the clubhouse down and building a new one.
But what's on the inside of it hasn't been
Yeah.
decided yet.
And
No.
who uses the clubhouse? I didn't even know there was one.
Multiple groups down at Mountain View, multiple different clubs, multiple different groups down at Mountain View.
Like for meetings or supplies? Or
I don't use the clubhouse down there, but I would say in all probability supplies, so storage. Meetings sometimes, I know pickleball use it, I believe tennis uses it.
Lawn bowling uses it.
Lawn bowling uses it, so there's different groups that use it, but I believe that's also where the bathrooms, some of
There
the
are 2 bathrooms
bathrooms
there,
will
yeah.
be, which is really important. As we're looking at Mountain View, it's kind of long, and so having bathrooms at that end is really important. So so it wasn't actually adding, we added it back into 3B as a rebuild rather than a renovation.
Okay.
With regard to sending an email to the board, if you want to have input into Aqua Fitness, I would reach out to your club and talk to them and share the information with them, and you're always welcome to send an email to the board.
Okay.
But they're the people that are going to actually be meeting with Triarch, so they would have talking directly to them to give your information to them.
Yeah. The instructor at Mountain View retired 2 weeks ago. So there's not somebody that has some ownership, kind of. So I'll just be sure that they are aware of that they could be hearing from people from the classes at Mountain View with questions or suggestions.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Number 25, please. Are you 25, Milt? Or is there did anybody pick up number 25? Okay, then go ahead.
Milton Lebsack, 130662. I was originally going to talk about one item, but I do want to talk about pickleball as well. I had occasion to go for breakfast on a Sunday morning at Bell, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. I was informed by an employee there, which I never knew in the 10 years that I was here, that the bowling does not open, the shuffleboard does not open, the billiards does not open until noon. There are numerous written publications that say the hours at Bell on Sunday are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That apparently is not true. So it either needs to be corrected or they actually need to have the facilities open. There's nothing posted on the doors anywhere in the building telling you that none of these facilities are available until noon on Sundays. I don't particularly use it, but I had occasion to eat there and noticed that nothing else was being used and wondered why. And an employee told me it's never open until noon. But there are numerous publications that say that it's open at 8.
Go ahead.
That was my main issue, but as far as the pickleball is concerned, I am a snowbird. When I play pickleball in Washington on outdoor courts, I would say half of the courts are dedicated specifically to pickleball. The other half are tennis courts, which are used with an alternate set of lines, which I know serious pickleball players do not like, but nonetheless, it's a practical solution. You have a different set of lines for pickleball than you do for tennis court, but numerous facilities in Washington use that when they don't have enough dedicated pickleball courts. They use tennis courts with an alternate set of lines, and it doesn't require converting the tennis courts on a permanent basis to pickleball. I think that's a practical solution. I think you should look into it. I know the serious pickleball players do not like the idea, but nonetheless, it's a practical solution. Thank you.
Mr. Deermeyer, my understanding was Bell Fitness Center was open at 8, but the other parts of the facility did not open on Sundays early, and you had indicated to me at one previous time because, I don't know, it was just lack of use or whatever, but on a Sunday morning, it did not start, things did not get up moving until 11 or 12. Could you enlighten us of what's going on there?
Yeah, so based on past data, there isn't a heavy usage in the morning inside the bowling center. So the employee that he's referring to are probably George's Cafe employees. On page 4 of our February Sun City update, the bowling hours say noon on Sunday. And on page 9 of the center's monitor activities current hours, the billiard tables and the shuffleboard both say that Sunday's at 12 noon.
Okay.
So it's listed appropriately in our communications. The actual center is open at 8, but that part of the facility is not. So fitness is open at 8, the mini golf's open at 8, tennis is open at 8, but that part of the facility is not open at 8.
All right, thank you, sir.
Could something be posted in the building to actually tell people that those facilities are not open until noon? There are still other publications that say everything is
Milt,
open
I
from
got
8 to 8.
good point.
So
We'll see what we can do to address
put
that.
something in the building
Understood.
that tells people that.
Understood. All right. Has everyone who wished to speak spoken? Ma'am, do you want a second? Okay, go ahead. Is that Catherine, was that right?
Just, no, I'm Pat Tonema.
Oh,
Just
close.
real quick. It occurred to me, pondering your plans for the 250-year celebration for the summer and the fall. What better way to celebrate the founding of our democratic country than to have access for the residents of our town to be able to vote? I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear a response at some point. If you've reached out to the Maricopa County Tabulation and Election Center, what their answers were, and if anything is happening. Thank you.
We did get that email, and that it is being considered, but there are some issues about opening our facilities for something that's not for necessarily for the members. So we'll work through these things, but yes, we got the email and it's being considered.
When I first moved here, the lawn bowling building at Bell was used for voting. And that's, I think it probably went fairly smoothly. I don't see why that couldn't be repeated, but it's up to you.
Mr. Deermeyer.
We did find out it requires a 1,600 square foot space. They require 1,600 square feet. I don't think that lawn bowl building is big enough. So we'd have to look at something else, which, remember, when we do these things, it doesn't just happen. There are resources that RCSC has to put into it, whether it's staffing or other things. So we've got to make sure we consider all aspects of this, because it's your guys' money that we're using as these resources. So we want to make sure we're doing what's best for the members.
Thank you, Mike.
What's that? Oh, and the other issue of we would have to be open to the public. So we would open ourselves up to non-members coming in. We'd have to allow them to come in. And they trip and fall, and Kevin gets a phone call from somebody, and now we're opening up more opportunity for liability risk.
So anyway, it's not cut and dried. There's always another side to the story, I guess. But we will try to look at that and see if we can't figure out some way to accommodate our community with those kind of facilities, if we safely can do that. Director Ruff?
Could we maybe see if the libraries could be the moving centers? Because that's open to
You know, that's a possibility. All right.
I believe, sir, you just picked up number 25. You're up.
Hi there. My name is Leroy Neuter, 179340. I'm trying to find out how many different golf associations or clubs or groups there are. I know that there's the Sun City Men's Golf, and then there's a 9-hole league and an 18-hole league, but how many are there? Because I might not want to just do one of those, but something different. Eddie, maybe you can help me with that later on?
Yeah, there are other groups that play during the week as well on Mondays and Fridays, and as well as on Saturdays. So maybe we can get you some information so you can be a part of those groups as well.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And you can also contact the Sun City Men's Golf Association, the SCMGA. Over here, sir. Yeah. And SCMGA has a website, so if you can search for SCMGA, that'll probably pop up the website. They control play on Wednesday, so there's a men's day, all-day Wednesday that you can fit in with also.
Yeah, I know there's a Wednesday and a Thursday group, but I didn't know if there was something on other days. That was...
Yeah, there are groups that play other days, especially for women. The leagues, the women are a lot more organized than the men are. So there are other groups, and there's small groups that play during the week, but you have to actually talk to the people that run those groups.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out is who are those people? That's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that would be one of them.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Has everyone spoken who wishes to speak today? All right. Thank you very much for your attendance. Next Board of Directors meeting is on the 26th of February, right here at 9 a.m. The next exchange meeting will be on March 9th. And as we mentioned earlier, the annual meeting is March 31st at 6 p.m. right here. So there being no further business and without objecting, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your presence.